Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/secretspiceoflife. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Welcome to some shit that's considered legendary.
Hey, what's going on, you variety-loving people? I hope you're ready to add some spice to your day. Welcome back to Secret Spice of Life for your host. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jordan.
And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. We have a pretty interesting guest in the studio with us today. Kind of the reason we're here today with you all. Our mother. What's going on, Mom?
Hey, guys.
We've referenced our mom at least a handful of times on the show, whether it be through just like her being a kind person or something like that in her bakery. And I know more recently we've been talking about, especially if you've been keeping up with the 25 Days of Spicemas, as she's our little partner in crime for this whole like charity and food pantry thing. When we talk about following your dreams, just know it's never too late to follow your dreams because she's over 50 now, let's just say, and she started following her dreams like later in life, like a lot later than most people normally would, especially nowadays. But why don't you like talk a little bit about how you got into like baking and stuff like that? Like, when did it all start?
Well, I mean, I've baked for years. I baked for family, friends, like for different things, weddings, for graduations, and it's just always something I enjoy doing. And just never thought that I was going to be able to actually open my own place doing it. So just came about one day, just thought, the boys even kind of helped me because they gave me the confidence to think, you could do this, Mom. And there were times that I thought, you start thinking, really, you have hard days where it's like, can I do this? You start second guessing yourself, but then you just keep on going. So just something I enjoy doing.
Did you have like any inspirations when you were younger, like when you were little or whatever, like any popular people or any people in your family or anything?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it today. Just somebody that I look up to is my grandmother. She raised 14 kids of her own, and she raised my brothers and I, and just look up to somebody, thinking after raising that many kids, and you'd actually take your grandchildren and raise them too. That just gives you a lot of respect for somebody, thinking at that age even how they did that. And then there were times that we lived from like paycheck to paycheck, but she never gave up, you know what I mean? She was always there for us, and we didn't have a lot, but we had what we needed. So that's somebody I always looked up to.
Did she have like any influence on the way you like learned to bake or cook or anything like that?
Probably cooking. I can remember Sundays waking up to the smell of roast and mashed potatoes in the house. I mean, you know how sometimes a certain smell reminds you of something. Yeah. Well, that's how I feel every time if I'm making a roast or something and I smell it, and I feel like it's my grandma's house. So, yeah. Baking, it's something that I just wanted to learn, and I guess I could say that that your grandmother Shirley actually helped me out a little bit with that, and she started giving me some recipes and things like that, and then I just started baking on my own and just learned.
Yeah.
Did you have or did you bake before you married Dad or were with Dad or before you knew Grandma? Or
did I bake?
Did you actually do, or did you actually learn from her?
No, I think I just started whenever we got married and I had my own place. So I've been doing it for quite a few years though, because I was probably in my early 20s, probably when I started baking. So yeah, and then I just learned everything. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you after you get started, is it just something that you had to dive in and learn, or is it something that you can probably you watch videos or watch other people do it first before you decided to start doing this for not a career, but just because you wanted to?
No,
I guess.
I mean, at first it was hard because it's hard when you measure stuff and things like that when you're not used to it. Now it's like I don't even have to really measure it. I can almost know that it's a cup. It's a, you know what I mean? It's a teaspoon or whatever. I never thought I'd get to that point, but no, I never watched videos or anything. It was just trial and error. Trust me, I threw, when I started in my 20s, I threw many recipes in the garbage. You know, that didn't make it to the table.
Yeah.
That sounds like me cooking.
Yeah.
If I
You
ever
live on
try.
pizza.
And you burn your cereal.
Do I put it in the oven or the microwave?
Yeah, but I threw many. And there's times, trust me, you're not perfect. You know what I mean? You might be like, oh, did I add that? You know, if you get somebody starts talking to you, or you start checking something, and then you're like, oh, wonder if I added the sugar. So then you're like, okay. But now I can usually tell just looking at it sometimes, you know, how it looks or whatever. You just get used to it.
Like we talk about all like aspects of business on here, like whether it's like marketing or whatever. And when you first started your shop to like, we always told you like to get on social media. Was it easy to like get started on social media, just like posting stuff? Like how, I know like now you post stuff like every day, like a picture of your cookies or something, but like was it easy at first just to get in the rhythm of like doing that? Or
yeah, Facebook it was, but the other things I'm still not into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still am lost on that. But Facebook it was, and it's just part of me now. Like when I do something, I do a tray for somebody that might be something different that I think I didn't post, then I go ahead and just automatically take a picture of it before I put it in the cooler or something, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's just part of what I do now.
Do you think you'll ever be able to use like the other stuff? Like Instagram, for example? Because I think Instagram would be something good for your cookies, especially because it's like...
the time.
If you find the time.
Maybe someday if I hire somebody to do that.
You have like an Instagram, right? We made it on Instagram.
We made it everything. I think everything.
And then she has a Twitter. I didn't know she had an Instagram.
And the heck else does she have?
She's a Pinterest, I think.
It's just that social media, it's time consuming, and it's not the picture part so much. It's the answering the messages, you know, making sure you don't miss somebody, you know, getting back to somebody right away. You know, I'm all about customer service, so I'm used to getting back to somebody right away.
Yeah,
that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
that's what Gary Vee says, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're supposed to make sure you answer all your commenters, all your messages and everything. Make sure you interact with your your customers or your fans or whatever.
When you first started, do you have like a lot of people commenting right away, or was it just like a slow build up?
It was a slow build up, and I would put it through because people don't know your page is out there until you start advertising, you know. Then some people would be like, where are you, you know? But I started to put myself on, you know, how they have the West Virginia or the Pittsburgh.
I know what you're talking about. I was just going to ask you about it.
Where you can put your ads and stuff on. Or you can put your
it's like a marketplace thing.
Yeah, like a kind of
like a Facebook marketplace.
And then once I put myself on there, then that's when it started rolling. Somebody was like, where are you? Then people started liking my page, and then they got more, you know, then our friends started seeing that they liked my page, so they started to find me, you know. Mm-hmm. So now, I mean, I still have a long ways to go, but I'm like just a little teeny bit over a year, and I'm almost up to 800 people on my page, so...
Yeah, and I think especially Gary Vee talks about this a lot, but I know like people that we talk to a lot are like always afraid to put like content out there, like how Tanner mentioned he didn't know if he wanted to make a podcast because he didn't know if people would want to listen to it. And but like the mom's like the perfect example of like putting content out there and like not being afraid to like put it out there, because like her pictures of her cookies aren't like taken with like a high definition camera and like edited or anything. They're just like it's just like a picture of like from an iPad, like just randomly, and just like posting it immediately.
Well, you know what I'm more afraid of? I'm more afraid to put it out there because it gives me more and more and more orders.
She's just bragging.
And I'm like, no, then I'm like, am I going to be able to keep up? Do you know what I mean? Especially this time of the year, you know?
Yeah.
And so as soon as, usually that's the thing that I'm more afraid of.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of posting stuff, you know?
I think we were just talking about this on our other episode, how how expensive one employee is, and mom, the people volunteer to work for you all the time, don't they?
Yes, I have a very good friend that actually shops for me too.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Janet. Thank you.
Shout out,
And these two here, sometime on my cleanup crew.
Yeah.
Last year they put together some trays for me, but you don't realize how you appreciate the little things. You know what I mean? It does help. It really does. I mean, like Janet put the eyes for Halloween on my lady locks. You know what I mean? Things like that. It certainly helps. She put together some jars for me, different things. And you know what? Not only what people do for you, the people that support you just by words and stuff mean a lot.
Yeah.
Brittany, speaking of the cleaning thing, you know what Mom said to me when she called her before she came home? She's like, if I come home right now, will you come down here and clean tomorrow?
Oh my gosh.
She had to make a deal to come home.
Well,
Oh my God.
it's long days, you know.
I wasn't included in this deal for the record.
Well,
I was sleeping.
You'll be at work anyway. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not a whole bunch of clean, just a little bit. I just need to get straightened up, that's all.
Yeah. But like I don't know. I don't. It kind of like just happened so fast, like the first year of your business. But like, what are you at like on Facebook? Like, what's your like likes and stuff like that?
She just said like 800.
800. Oh, did she say that?
Almost
Okay.
800.
Yeah.
Okay.
close.
That's pretty good though.
Yeah, like close, like 770 some, yeah.
Yeah, and people always like complain about like.
And I haven't really been putting myself like out there much that way. You know what I mean? To try to get likes and that.
Yeah, because you don't do like target marketing or anything. You could like be putting like stuff into.
Have you ever thought about? I mean, not really expanding, but doing it to where you can deliver orders to people that don't live in the area.
Well, I mean, I have met people's places before. You know, like I'll go out as far as like Brandon actually delivered for me when you guys were gone over the weekend. But I mean, I'll go out like Cookstown way, you know what I mean? Things like that. Meet people in Burgettstown. I delivered right on the hill in Weirton one time, you know what I mean? I'll do things like that.
Yeah, I mean, like you never thought about doing it like outside of like this whole area.
I think you just need to make sure you have somebody hired to do that because I wouldn't have the time to do it. Do you know what I mean? That would be the issue.
Yeah, I was just wondering because like, I mean, at some point I feel like just being in this area, you're not going to be able to expand too much. I mean, it's not like you're not getting business now, but like...
Right. Yeah, right. And another thing is, like, another thing that I did was added food. You know, that keeps me going at times, too. So it's not just cookies and cupcakes. I mean, I have pasta salad, chicken stuffed shells, queso, chicken, things like that. So I have my dedicated customers that look forward to that on the weekends. And when I get real busy like now, sometimes I'm not always able to do it, being just me, you know? So...
Well, and back to how we were talking about your likes. I mean, it's not always about the numbers, but people complain about getting like a couple likes and people like unliking their stuff and stuff like that. But it like how if Mom's if she's like a little bit over 800, that's like literally 2 likes a day in like a 365 day year. Yeah. And I mean, and she's growing like a pretty impressive like little business for a year. And I mean, and the statistic is I think it's what 80% or 90% of small businesses fail in the first year.
Yeah, I think it might be something like that. Like if you make it past the first year, then like that's when you actually start going.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you don't like have anybody like to keep track of like your finances like up front, like in like a spreadsheet or something like that. But like if you're able to like do that and allocate money to like hire one employee, what would the employee be? Like, would it be a driver or somebody to clean for you, or
probably I have a hard time saying that I'd hire somebody to bake and that because that's my niche. You know what I mean? Because I take pride in that. Not that somebody couldn't do it. You know what I mean? And the same because you got to make sure your product is 100% what you have it. You know what I mean? The same with your food. I think it'd be a big help to have somebody to actually clean, like up after me, before me, after me, whatever. You know what I mean? Because that's a lot less worry. I can just leave right after I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also have somebody maybe to put together the trays and that, you know, follow an order that, you know, they know that these cookies are for that order and you want it trade and stuff.
Yeah.
Because around the holidays like now, that takes a lot of time,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
There's our jobs.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 'cause we were trading cookies last year, like during the
Yeah.
Yeah, during
holidays.
the
It was like,
holidays.
Yeah.
I remember we laid out trays like
Yeah.
everywhere, and we were just like
But it would be a
trading
big
them.
help to have someone clean every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it helps that Janet shops for me, honestly, because I shop so much that I just hate shopping now.
Mhm.
You know, and especially when I used to shop for Uncle Joe too. You know, whenever he was sick and stuff, and it's like just endless buggies, and I'm just like, that's probably one of my worst things to do anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh, were you gonna say something?
No, I mean, I was just gonna. Did you want to talk about Uncle Joe though?
Sure,
Like that
what do you want me to?
Aspect of it, like.
Well, you guys always touch on like mental health, you know, and
Yeah.
I think you
Mhm.
had a couple guests on the show to do with mental health. Well, 4 years ago or so, my brother got sick, so Uncle Joe got sick, and he just had a lot of issues, and he was in and out of different facilities and hospitals, and it was just a long haul for him. And he's in an assisted living now. At least we know he's taken care of. I mean, he does want out at times, but he's so much healthier than he was. What you learn during that process is that there isn't a lot of help out there. You know, that's something that somebody needs to build on more. You fight for that person, but there isn't a lot of help. So the few people or the few angels that come into your life to help you really mean a lot, you know, because it really does. It kind of saves somebody's life sometime, you know. I mean, we went through a lot where, you know, he was missing, and we had like search party out for him one time, you know, and then just in and out of hospitals and different things. It's hard when someone's sick and when someone's going through that mental health issues. It's hard for them to even explain to you what it's like if you've never been through it. But I think you guys lived it too. So
Yeah.
even though I try to pamper you a little bit from it, but
Yeah.
you do remember it.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
And I remember when he got lost at one time, like you mentioned, or when
Yeah.
I don't know where he went. What, didn't he just like go for a walk
He
and
was
he
gone
ended up
for days.
disappearing for a few
He
days?
went back to where we lived in our hometown, and
Yeah.
he was gone for days. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally he walked back home. Yeah. So, but there were many times that he shouldn't have lived, but you know, it wasn't really his time, and just I mean, sure, there's a lot of people out there that go through the, you know, depression, the OCD, the mental health
Yeah.
type issues that probably feel the same, that like there is no help.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that there is somebody that cares and somebody that'll be there for you to talk to you about it, and that'll help you if you ask. Don't be ashamed of it, because that's one thing that was so hard in the past, that everybody would like, you'd be ashamed, you know, but there's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, there's so many young people now committing suicide and stuff like that, and that's almost what we kind of went through with my brother. But it's just, don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be, you know, and if like us, we need to listen to those people, you
Yeah.
know.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, just pick up the phone, call somebody. Just, if you have a phone that you text somebody.
Yeah.
They'll text you back. We had that number, I think I shared with you guys from Facebook.
What number?
Did you put it on your page? I don't know if you did.
No.
If you text somebody, then they'll text you back if you need to talk to them.
I think, like, wasn't that a while ago?
No, but we'll get it. Maybe you can put it on
Okay.
your
We
page
can put it in
after
this
the
episode.
show.
Yeah.
But it's somebody, it's like workers, and they'll, you know, it's like mental health. What word am I looking for?
What does Alan do?
Is it guidance counseling? Well, he used,
it's
to,
like
he
a
used to do like guidance.
like
psychiatric.
caseworkers,
Yeah,
or, you
yeah.
know, people
Yeah,
that
that's
will
what it
talk
is,
to
yeah.
you. Yeah, like psychiatrists,
Yeah,
or you know, it's okay to talk to people.
Mm.
You know, there was always in the past that people thought, oh, just because you talk to a psychiatrist, you know,
Yeah,
it's
people
not
think you're
right.
crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not. There's no such thing as crazy.
Yeah.
You know, when you need to talk to somebody, you need to talk to somebody. We all go through it. So if you say you don't, you're lying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everybody has a bad day.
I mean,
you know.
It's like kind of crazy how like how many people come out as having like psychiatrists and stuff now, like just people
Yeah.
like people that are in the
'Cause-
public eye and stuff all the
Right.
time, and like even just like people like us.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's crazy, like how many people in the world have to talk to somebody all the time just to
Right.
get stuff off their chest and everything.
Right. Yeah, because before it was like people shunned you, or like, you know, or just like, oh, like looked at you like you were crazy, you know. But it's not like that, you know. You just need to talk about it.
Yeah, I always said the topics that people should be talking the most about are so hush hush nowadays, like mental health or like things that are like going, like real things that are going on in like people's lives, not all like this dramatic like BS that like goes on like social media and stuff like that. And I remember Logic had an interview with the Hard Knocks or whatever, I'm pretty sure is what his Hard Knock interview.
Yeah, what was it about?
He said he didn't mention any names, but he said one celebrity like came up to him and he was like, hey, he's like don't tell anybody I told you this. He's like, but I wish I could be you. He said it's so hard to like live in like this persona or whatever and act like everything's okay. And he's like it's not okay like to live like that or whatever. But he said that you don't know that like all these people who are like huge public figures are like going through like a lot.
That's what Logic said. I don't think he ever really had any like, I mean, like he has anxiety issues now that he like recognizes, but he never like knew he had the issues until he became like more famous and like started to work more and everything.
Yeah.
And he said like not getting rest and like just working himself to death all the time. And he told have a
positive and productive day.
There you
Have
go.
a positive and productive day.
That's how we're gonna end it. See ya.
Secret Spice of Life.
I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, it would mean the world to us if you gave us a rate and review. Subscribe to the podcast as well, so you're first to know when we release new episodes. Be sure to download the podcast to help us out. If you're watching the podcast on YouTube, the full-length podcast is in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe as well. Check us out on all of our social media. Our Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat are all official SSOL. Again, that is OFFICIALSSOL. That is on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And you can find us at Secret Spice of Life on Facebook. Don't forget to check out our website and blog. New blog every Wednesday, and potentially some bonus blogs throughout each week. Check out our Patreon to enhance your viewing and listening experience. And as always, have a positive and productive day.
Welcome to some shit that's considered legendary.